Hi there, welcome back to Movement with Natalie. All right, I'm here with you today on SCU Live, and we are going to be continuing our journey through movement, Ayurvedic wellness specialist as well as movement master. All right, so today, what I decided to do was to have us do some review as moving forward and getting our bodies to push through. If you are at the university and you're not just a person that's in the world checking out this video, you may be in the thick of classes and you may want some support and motivation to continue pushing forward because we have a few more months here until we end the summer term. So I'll be pushing us in through that section, and then I'll tell you some small tips at the end as per usual. I'm trying to navigate this space so I get a full camera view, but also not pick up too many things in the background. So today we'll face this direction, right? So let's have you start here on your mat. So all you'll need today is a mat. Last week we used the chair for a bit to go through Surya Namaskar. And today we're going to do a little bit of Pilates and some yoga because we like to do both, but we'll start with some simple stretching, all right? So get nice and tall. You can cross your legs. If this is hard for you, you can find a chair, as demonstrated last year, or last class. We're usually live here at 1 p.m. on Thursdays, and then feel free to always pop on. And if you can't make this timing, you can always, watch it later on, right? It'll be here posted on the live the live drop down button, right? So we'll start today. Let's reach the arms all the way to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. We're going to start with some basic stretching. Let your arms reach all the way forward. Drop the head. Fingertips go down to the floor as you exhale. Slowly walk your hands all the way in and put your hands on the knees and stack your vertebra all the way back up. Nice and simple. Just stretching out the spine, lower back, and hamstrings. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let the body fold forward, release the head, and fingertips go down. This is pretty gentle. If you have any major injuries or recent surgeries, it's approachable. But remember to always check in with your primary care physician before starting any type of new exercise. Once more with this leg in front. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, round your body, reach the fingertips forward. And walk the fingertips all the way in, stack the vertebra all the way up. All right, and then we'll switch the legs in front. Same exercise again. Inhale, reach the arms all the way to the ceiling. Exhale, fold the body forward. This time the opposite legs in the front. Walk the hands all the way in and stack the vertebra up. Twice more. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, fold. And walk the hands all the way back in. So we'll start with some really gentle stretching just to warm the body up before we get into a fusion of Pilates and yoga. Exhale, dump the body forward and walk it up. And then from here, let's switch legs in front again. So some simple, gentle twists. All of these stretches can be done seated in a chair, all right? Inhale, lengthen through the spine as you breathe in. You want to have this image that you're lengthening and you're reaching the crown of the head up toward the ceiling. As the pelvis, the two ischium bones underneath you, those sits bones, are down on the floor. There's like two stretches happening through the spine as you breathe in. And then exhale, twist the body, bring the hand that's in front, and you'll go and reach for the opposite knee and twist, right? As you twist, keep your pelvis facing the front of the room. And then you'll bring your body all the way back. All right, so inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, twist. Same thing. The opposite palm goes on the opposite knee. Palms behind you, helping support long spine, both sits bones evenly distributing weight underneath you. Come back to the center. We'll do the same thing again. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, gentle spinal twist. Exhale, bring out the towel, the upper half of the body squeezing to one side of the room as the pelvis stays anchored toward the front. Feel the chest move you as the pelvis stays anchored. And then come back to center. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, twist, top of the body's gonna ring out. Feel the pelvis stay nice and anchored as you twist the upper half of the body. Be mindful that you don't start to pull the hip in the same direction. You want to almost resist with the lower half of the body. And come to the center. All right, lateral flexion. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Drop an arm down, and then you're going to slowly start to walk the fingertips over as you stretch one side of the body out, making sure you don't overextend through the pelvis or the ribs. So feel this nice long space in front of your body, and then go ahead and take a peek down toward the palm as you lower it, and bring the body back up. And you may have the urge to lower the elbow if you have a lot of mobility, but let me challenge you to feel both sides of the waist and the obliques stay long. You don't overdo it. And then look down, because we're starting nice and gently. And then bring it all back up. All right, switch the legs in front. Same thing twice more. Inhale, reach both arms up. And start on the second side. Walk it on over and stretch. Feel both sits bones stay. Feel the waist stay nice and long. Looking down toward the floor. And bring it back up. Last one, inhale. And reach it on over, fingertips go, stretch, stretch, stretch. Feel the pelvis stay anchored in the floor as both sides of the body stay long. Let the palm fall onto the mat as you look down toward the floor. And bring it all back up. Come to the center. All right. Now from here, we're going to start on our back. So turn to the side of the room. If this is challenging for you, you can always put your legs on the wall. What does that look like, right? If you're going to use the wall, the option is your pelvis will come all the way toward the wall, all right? The body will lie down and you'll bring your feet up toward the sky, right? This way your legs are literally on the ceiling and then the back of the body is laying down on the floor. And we're going to do this is like a combination of Pilates footwork, a variation on the footwork, and our Padottasana 2. But it's instead of us sitting up, we're laying down, right? So we point the feet and then we flex the feet, right? I'm going to do it upright, but I'm showing you a variation so you have the option to lie on your back, especially if you're tight in your hip flexors. This is a great way for you to get a stretch behind the legs, as well as not have to endure the strength to keep your legs up to the sky, all right? So that's option one. Option two would be seated upright. Just sitting with the hands beside you, pointing and flexing. All right, and today I'm going to start with option 3, which is more of the Pilates version, right? So if you find that you're really tight in the hamstrings and the hip flexors and you cannot keep your legs up to the sky, but find a wall or sit upright or skip it. That's the other option, just to skip it, all right? So I'm going to start lying on my back, and we're just going to point the feet and flex the feet in parallel position, point through the toes, hands stay down to the side of the waist. Find the abdomen, pull the navel in, and flex through the heels. All right, the most underused part of our body consciously, because we have to walk everywhere, but we rarely spend time just acknowledging the feet. You're going to point through the toes, push through dorsiflexion, and then point all the way through the full toe, and dorsiflexion and flex. All right, so pushing all the way through, almost like there's a lot of articulation, because there is, reaching through the toes, flexing through the heels. We'll do it 5 more times. Point through the toes. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So this would be contraindicated if you're pregnant. And flex. And 3, if you have any issues with your hips or you're really tight and you can't actually keep your legs at a right angle. All right. And then we'll turn the toes into a Pilates V position, which looks just like this. If I were facing you, you're going to turn the legs out. You're going to flex through the heels. And point through the feet. Again, flex through the heels and point through the feet. And this requires pelvic floor strength, right? So again, if you find that you're struggling here or your feet are on fire, they probably should be, right? Depending on your strength level, you can always put your legs onto the wall and flex. Let's do 4 more. Inhale, flex. Exhale, point. And flex. You should feel a big fire in front of the shins, all through the toes. 2 more. Notice if one foot is struggling a little bit more than the other. And last one. Good. Bend the knees into the chest. Thank you, legs. All right. So all through the front of the feet and underneath should feel nice and warm. All right, and then drop your feet down to the ground. So from here, we're gonna do single leg roll-ups, right? So this is also a Pilates variation. One leg's gonna stay down on the floor. The opposite leg's gonna reach up to the sky. And I want you to anchor the opposite leg onto the ground. So as you roll the body forward, you'll catch the back of the leg and then lower this leg down, all right? So if you were gonna do a modified version, you would just reach the leg up and bring it down. And we've done this before too, in Padavottasana too, right? Really great for digestion, really great for just acknowledging. So when we do go into it, because I haven't started yet, I'm just showing you the variation on the same thing. And if you're on the wall, now is a good time to get up, and these are the other two variations, all right? But we are going to roll up. So inhale, reach the arms up, all right? Exhale, round your spine, catch the back of the leg, pulling the navel in, and then exhale, round your body, reach the leg away, reach the arms away, and lower. Today we'll do the same leg 3 times, all right? If it's too hard for you to roll up, you can bend the knee, and you can round your body up. This is your max, that's fine. Or you can go all the way up like I just did with the foot bent, and then lower down. Really trying to anchor the opposite leg. All right, if you want more challenge, keep your leg long, one more time, and lower the body. All right, same thing, opposite side. Exhale, roll it on up. All right, we'll do this whole series one more time just in case you just joined and you're wanting to get involved and you're like, where can I begin? One more time, exhale. Fantastic for raising your heart rate, as well as acknowledging your digestive system and abdomen, okay? So just now we did 2 sets. You have the opportunity to stay here, lower the leg up and down, right? Or we're gonna do single leg roll up, right? I'm gonna do it with bent knees for the second round, just to kind of be consistent and show you, right? Bend one leg, opposite leg stays onto the floor until the body's halfway up, making sure you're not hyperextending through the ribs. Pull the rib cage down to the floor and pull the abdomen in. Exhale, roll on up. Catch a foot, catch an ankle, catch behind the leg, and round the body down. Push into the leg that's bent, so you get a nice resistance and anchoring of the pelvis. Again, exhale, round forward. Inhale, roll the body down. Exhale, round the body forward. Inhale, round the spine down. We'll switch legs. Same thing, opposite leg. Breathe and reach it forward. And round the spine down. Really pushing into that supporting leg. That's actually the one that's really doing a lot of the work. All right? Round it down. One more time, exhale. Good, and bring it on down. Beautiful. Bend the knees and relax the arms. All right? So we went through a nice, simple series. Pointing, flexing the feet, single leg roll-ups, and now we're going to do a full roll-up. So if you are not at the position or place that you can do a full roll-up yet, I would like for you to pull both knees into the chest, heels stay together. You're going to rock side to side, and then you're going to try to rock up and down. Give yourself a nice little rock until you get all the way to the top, all right? If you can roll up, down fully, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so you have 2 options. You can either do the rolling like a ball exercise or full roll up with me, all right? Bend the knees a little if you feel like your back needs a little bit more warming, and skip it if your back is not happy today, right? Squeezing the glutes and heels. Peel the spine all the way up and reach it forward. All right, modifications. Hands behind the legs. Press into the heels. Squeeze into the glutes, right? Or roll like a ball on both sides. Try to feel both sides of the legs activate. So when you roll up, don't use your momentum. Really use the posterior muscles behind you. One more time. Exhale, bring it on forward. Good, and round the spine down. Beautiful, all right? And sideline series, all right? So we did a variation on this theme. We were kind of mixing in our whole library of goodies that we've been putting together over the past few weeks, right? We've done some sidelining and we've done variations on rolling up, as well as some of these exercises from yoga. Now we're gonna lay on the side and then we're gonna go onto our bellies, right? We'll go straight into side lie. Allow the arms to stay long. If you have a little bit of a bonier hip, you might want to bend the knees, or you may even want to add a padding underneath here. You can prop up onto the arm. I recommend, if your neck is healthy, laying long. All right, and your goal is to squeeze the inner heels together and try to reach out, reach everything away, and then lower it all down. And then reach it on away, and then lower it down. Now again, if it's too hard on the neck, you can put a hand down, and then you can reach with both legs, reaching up and out and lowering down, right? And again, reach and lower. And reach, squeeze the seat and inner thighs together. And 4 more. And 3. So these are nice and slow. And 2, leading from the obliques, squeezing the inner thighs. And 1 more time, all right? From this position, now is a great time to place the hand onto the floor, all right? Squeeze those inner thighs together, and so you don't rock back on your glutes, you're gonna reach the legs away from you as you zip the navel in and up, right? It's almost like you have a zipper. You're gonna bring it all the way up, and then keep it up as you lower the legs down. Zipper up, and lower, and zipper up, and lower. So now you're isolating, only using the lower half of the body, so you should really feel it in the inner thigh that's pushing both legs up off the floor. Let's do 4 more. So 10 of each. 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Good. From this position, you have the option to place the hand in front of you, keeping it there. Or if you want to balance again, bring the hands up. You're going to lift both legs off the ground. You're going to beat the heels together for 1, open and close. 2, open and close. 3, working the inner thighs and lower pelvic floor muscles. 4, 5, 6, try your best not to use your neck. So if you have to prop up, you can. 4 more, 3 more. The obliques should really be working. 2 more, 1, all right? Finally, last 2 tags, right? So we did a full reach and lift. Then we isolated the lower half. Then we beat both heels together, all right? Now we're gonna lift the legs off the ground again, and scissor them small and quick. So back and forth. 1, make sure you separate them. 2, 3, 4, 5. You can play with balance. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax. All right. Last tag. I hope we'll remember all of this on the second time. We will. I wish you could tell me on here. All right. You're going to lift the legs up again, pull the navel in, and you're going to lengthen the legs, separate them in big swings. Swing, swing, almost like you're jumping over a hurdle. Swing, swing. And we had a couple of opportunities to do this in the past, right? So really use your legs. This time you can really put the hand on the floor and help your body stay stabilized. 5 more, big swings. 4 more, big swings. 3 more. You really have to use your abs so you don't kind of rock over. 2 more. And 1 more time. Swing and swing. So you really fired up the hips, lower abdominal muscles and inner thighs, and you actually really have to have full use of your upper body to help your trunk stay stabilized. All right. So from here, we're going to go straight into the second side, and then we'll do some posterior exercises. Okay. All of that is a Pilates tag. The first half was a combo. Same thing, second side. So lying all the way down, arms and legs are nice and long. I like to reach through my toes just to keep energy reaching down and through. Arms are going to go up and over the head, pulling the navel in. All right, and we're going to reach the legs out, lift the lower body and upper body and down. 10 times. 2, feel the legs and toes reach. You can point all the way through the toes as long as you don't feel like you're getting crampy. 3, using those obliques. 4, natural breathing. And 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9. If you need a little neck break, you can come here, and 10. And we're going straight into up and down, lower half of the body. So lift and lower. Use the bottom leg to come on up. 3, and again, you have the option to prop up because I have a really mobile neck, so sometimes my neck wants to overstretch. You got to make adjustments and really honor where your body is. And notice if one side's a little more off than the other. Try and track it to prevent injuries. 3 more, 2 more, and 1. Good. Now from here, we did our list, 2 sets of 10. Now we're going to do leg beats. Feel free to lie flat or prop the head up. Reach the legs away from you, pulling the navel in and up. Zipper up like you did on the first side. Separate the legs. Squeeze them both together. Separate the legs. Feel your abdomen squeeze in and up. This should be rock solid, right? And squeeze. 4. Squeeze. 5. Squeeze. 6. Squeeze. 7. Inner thighs closed. 8. The glutes and hips are working as well. 9. And 10. Good. Rest. All right. From this position, we're going to go into the leg swings. We'll do small, quick ones, and then really large for 10. All right. Feel free to put the hand on the ground. If you want to challenge yourself, you can put your hand on your hip. You can even prop up here. Reach the legs off the ground. Notice how my hip is starting to sink up. You want to pull the hip down so everything is nice and connected. Feeling the shoulder blades press down as you resist if you're propping your hand underneath you, all right? Otherwise, you're laying flat, legs come off, separate the legs for 1, switch, 2, switch. And you may feel the difference on this side, whether you're one side weaker than the other. 5 more, 4 more, 3 more, 2 more. Requires a lot of lower belly, and big ones. Reach, reach. Now is the time for you to put your hand down on the floor and anchor so your abs can help you push and resist. All right, 5 more. Press. 5. Reach. 4. Reach. 3. Reach. 2. Reach. One more time. Switch. Switch. And rest. How was that for you? Did it go well? I hope that was a win. All right. So now we're going to flip over onto our belly. Do a little posterior work. One of these exercises is called leg beats, and it's in 2 different exercises that we do in Pilates, right? One is the grasshopper, which is one of my favorite exercises. It actually goes on the equipment, which maybe one day I'll pull out one of the apparatus and show you how it looks on the equipment versus not. But generally speaking, we'll do it on that because I want you to join me, all right? But we're going to do the leg beats. We were doing them sideways. Now we're going to face down and do them. And the difference is you basically activate all of your posterior muscles, so your glutes, your lower back muscles, your QLs, your quadratus lumborum, those are like the quads of the back, all the way down to the gastrocnemius, which are the calves, and then the bottoms of the feet, all right? So nice and simple. And then after we do 10 of those, we'll really speed it up for about, 30 more reps, really small beats, right? So as quick, as many as you can get in that time frame. Then we'll bend the knees, lift the heels to activate the glutes and hamstrings. We'll do a simple stretch. Done with that, all right? Moving right along, ever so happily, all right? So onto the belly. Palms are gonna face down underneath you like so, all right? Either palm can be on top or they can be separate. Find the abdomen, pull it off the floor. It should be like a hollow space underneath you. You don't want your lunge to be hanging out. And then naturally, if that's something that you're working on or you have inflammation, don't worry about it, but do actively make an effort to pull the navel in underneath you, okay? It's important, all right? So once you lie flat on the floor, bring your palms underneath you. If you have any issues with your head, you can lie on the left or the right side, okay? And then we'll go into it. So down on the floor, palms down, navel pulls in. So watch my navel. You're gonna see my navel pull it up off the floor. There should be able to be a space, right? If you have that as an option, all right? Find the legs, bring them together. If you have no problems with the head being downward, drop your head down, pull the navel and reach both legs off the ground, open and close the legs. You're gonna reach them out, squeeze and close, right? Gravity is hitting you differently when you're lying flat. So you're gonna get a lot more of the posterior muscles. And when you lie on your side, obviously the obliques, inner thighs, and most of the legs, as well as the abs, right? So same thing, 10 reps. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Open, exhale, close. 3, exhale, close. 4, same thing. If you need to put a pad or something underneath you so that way you don't have any bones pressing into the floor where you feel uncomfortable. If you just ate, absolutely a terrible idea. So just stop. 3 more. Open, close. Then small ones, small beats. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 more sets. 1, 2, 3. Pull the navel in. 4, 5. Keep reaching the legs away from you. Try to get the thighs off the floor. Last set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and rest. Sit all the way back into a resting pose, knees wide. Drop the head and stretch it on out. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Again, breathe in. And breathe it on out. All right. From here, we're going to have you lie back onto your belly. Head's going to go down. And then bend both of your knees. So the palms are going to go down. Bend your knees. Flex through the heels. Squeeze the heels together. And your hips are going to push down into the floor. All right. From this position, squeezing your heels together, you're going to try to lift your knees, not your lower back. Just press the hips down so much that your back stays neutral. Lift and lower. Hamstrings lift, lower. Drop the head. 3, lower, and 4. Keep the heels squeezed together. And 5 more. 4 more. Feel if one of the legs is working more than the other. Stay lifted. From here, squeeze your knees, close and open. Close and open. Close and open. Close and open. 5 more. Remember, the knees are off the ground. Try to get them off. They don't have to be really high because I don't want you to go into your lower back. 2 more. Stay together. And then small little lifts. 1. Heels to the ceiling. 2, 3. Squeeze the knees close. 5. Squeeze. 6. Squeeze. 7. Squeeze. 8. 9. Squeeze. Relax. You should definitely feel that in the posterior parts of the body. It's a great season to tonify the back of the body. Okay, sit all the way back into child's pose, drop the head, and take a nice deep breath. All right, from this position, palms are going to go down onto the floor and then tuck your toes, right? Now, you have 2 options in terms of stretching, right? If you're really tight in the hamstrings, you can just flip over, sit up tall, and stretch a leg, right? Bend one knee, bend the other knee, right? If you have a little bit more mobility than that, you can bend both knees and go to a mountain pose or downward dog pose. Drop the head. Breathe. Right? And you might not really be getting your hamstrings if your legs are completely straight, depending on the flexibility in your back, right? So find the ribs. Pull them in and up and give yourself 5 deep breaths in this position. Exhale. And we're going to do in through the nose, out through the nose. Push into the palms, making sure that your thumb and index finger is active. Bend the knees, breathe. Good. And then slowly come down onto all 4s. Cat-cow, open up the chest, pull the navel in, arch the back. Try not to let your lunge dump out completely, right? Utilize your muscles, and then tuck the toes, round your spine, pull the navel in, release the crown of the head to stretch out the head, neck, and shoulders. Arch the back, open the chest, round. So you got arch and curl, tuck, curl. Arch, press the tops of the feet on the floor, open up the chest. Tuck the toes, round your back, pull the navel in. Arch the back, open the chest. Good. And then from here, we're going to stir the pot. So this is a really, so that was a bit of a yogic variation. We can see yoga and Pilates has a lot of meeting points, especially without the equipment. When you're here, we're going to basically mix the pot. So bring your hips all the way down to the right heel. And then you're going to drop to the other center part of the body, so you're in child's pose. Shift to the other hip and then come all the way up with a rounded back. Then you're going to open the chest. So it's almost like you're stirring a pot. Your chest is going to go out as you go back to the heel. Opposite heel, drop the head, curl the spine, come up. The pelvis is leading, so the pelvis goes to the right heel. The pelvis goes to the left heel. The pelvis stays tucked as you come up toward your left palm, toward the right palm. One more time in this circle. You're literally using your torso, stretching out your back and hips, right? We're going to go the other way to the left hip and to the right. Round your spine to come up to the center. Open the chest to go back toward the heels. Round the back. And if it's too complicated for you, just keep your head in a rounded position. Don't do all of the extras, right? The goal is to get moving and to stretch out the hip and the backs, right? Go to neutral spine. All right, so from here, we're gonna go to a pigeon pose. If pigeon pose is available for you, great. So we'll go to mountain, drop the head, stretch it on out. This will be our last little move before I give you a tip. You can bring this foot forward into a number 4, walk this one back, stretch it on out. Okay, this is option 1. This may be a lot for one person. So if it is too much, you can swing around breakdancer style and put an ankle on. You can sit in a chair, do piriformis stretch, right? Or you can lie onto your back, right? And you'll, believe it or not, get the same access to the same muscles, right? It just depends on your body's usual use, all right? So you have a couple of option 1, option 2, and option 3. All right. Take a nice deep inhale. And walk it on out. If this is what you did on the first side. Right? Drop the head and breathe. One of my favorite poses is pigeon pose, like the number 7 or the number 4. Respectfully keeping the foot in flexion so the knees and the muscles and tendons around the knees are active. Won't be too hard on your body. And then lift the waist up, climb it on high. Feel the front of the hip. Feel the navel lift up. Yeah, let's do the other side. If you started and did the first side, feel free to just spend a little bit more time on whichever side of your body is a little bit tighter. Walk it on out. Nice deep breath. Walk it all the way in, lift the chest up. And relax. All right, how did that go? I hope it was amazing for you. You should feel very different than when you started if you stayed with me the whole time, all right? So one tip, we're starting to get closer to summer, even though in California it's tending to be, depending on which side of town you're in, I'm near the water, so it's a little bit chilly today, but the truth is when it's at the height of the sun, it's pretty warm, right? Especially if you're in the sun. So now is a great time to start thinking seasonally, how can you support the best balance in your body as the body tends to get warmer as the summer months come. So I always like to go to my local farmers market and check out like what they have. So you might see it's going into peach season, right? Peach season is here. That's like one of my favorite things. So I encourage you to start to have a lot more fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet. It's a great time if your body is in balance to gravitate towards salads for lunch. And then you can have something that's substantial for lunch at all times between 12 and 2 p.m. because that's like the ideal time for your body and gut to process food at its largest, right? And then taper off toward the end of the day between 5 and 7 to have your dinner. But most importantly, in the summertime, start thinking about how you can have more things that are filled with liquids and water to keep you cool and hydrated. All right, that would be like cucumbers, celery, apples, all those crispy, delicious things. And if you're a person that tends to be on the drier side, you may still be able to get away with a lot of more unctuous items, right? More like ghee and certain oat products. But even as it relates to milk, if you're a person that drinks milk in the summer, it is nicer to gravitate more toward either like a goat milk or soy, flax, lighter versions of milk. Like even spiced nuts, like you could add some special spices. One of the things is one of my best takeaways for summer, and I will never forget because I took my daughter to an amusement park, and while we were there, she was super warm and she wanted to get like a slushie, right? And I said, I'll give her the slushie, but I also had a backup plan because I tend to stay away from iced drinks in general because it disrupts my digestion. That is a very Ayurvedic philosophy. And if you want more of that, please keep visiting me here. But I would love for you to visit the SCU clinic, and I'll be there Wednesdays with Dr. J. So in the interim, after she had this delicious slushie, she was on fire, and she tends to be a warmer being. So my trick bag, I had some cardamom seeds and I added them to a neutral, like, room temp bottle of water. And the actual seeds of cardamom have a tendency to, not only do they help you digest and assimilate food, but they actually cool you off too. It's like a beautiful, non-perishable mint experience. All right. So if you haven't, check out cardamom seeds. You'd be very, very impressed about what they can do. More on that next week. I'll get into properties and all the good things and how you can use cardamom and what it's in. But for today, we're all finished. So thank you again for joining me. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Just show up and we can do it together. All right. Until next time, I'll see you next Thursday at 1 p.m. Natalie here, signing off.